Welcome to High School OT Live. Here's your host, Nick Stevens.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens here in Raleigh. The state championship matchups are almost set. We've got two games still going on tonight. The 4A West, a Grimsley-Weddington game that's a one-point game right now, and the 2A West, Reedsville and Burns. Looks like Reedsville's in a comfortable position the last we checked, but everything else is done. Some of the state championships are ready to go. Now, I'm not hosting tonight alone. We've got TJ Thorpe. We've got Brennan Doherty on board and bring both of them in right now. TJ, how you doing? Brennan, we've been talking all night throughout the night as scores have been coming in. Give us a quick update on the two games we still have going on. Again, the 4A West, Grimsley and Weddington, the 2A West, Reedsville and Burns.
Let's start on the 4A West. Grimsley leads Weddington 28-27 with just over 1 minute left in that one. It looks like Grimsley is going to be able to hold on. Weddington just turned the ball over on down, so the Whirlies should be able to kneel that one out. And then in 2A, actually, it just went final. Grimsley gets the 28-27 win over Weddington, so they're moving on to the 4A state title where they'll meet New Bern. We'll talk more about New Bern later. But the only game still going on right now is the 2A West matchup you mentioned. Reedsville in full control, 32-14 against Burns.
All right, keep us posted on that Reedsville-Burns game, and we will get back to you in just a moment. Look, TJ Thorpe joining us tonight.
Look,
how you doing, TJ?
I'm good. I got my old college teammate and current Montreal Alouette right now in the CFL, Mike Moore. Him and his family, he got a bunch of boys over at the house. But I told him, if we're talking football and we're talking professional and college Division I, he's a big defensive end. Hold on, I'll give you a little.
Hey, we're gonna hear from another big defensive end that another one of your UNC friends.
For sure,
tonight.
And just a fun fact: so Mike actually one was my roommate, but his dad, Sean Moore, is probably the most decorated quarterback in University of Virginia history. So Sean Moore, Google that name, and then Google Mike in Montreal. They're doing big things. So. Yeah. And I got my swag on.
I see that. We have a mutual friend that is sort of Canadian.
Chris Francis.
All right, let's get moving with the games tonight, and we'll start in 4A. TJ, we know the 4A state championship game will be undefeated number 2 New Bern out of the 4A East against undefeated number 1 Grimsley out of the 4A West. New Bern beat Millbrook tonight 35-27. Grimsley beat Weddington 28-27. We're pretty familiar with both New Bern and Grimsley from High School OT Live. How do you see this playing out?
You remember a long time ago, and I want to get real close to the camera because I want everybody to hear exactly what I'm saying. But I told you, Nick, especially in high school, if you have a dominant front and you have a big man up front who can control the line of scrimmage, it's going to be hard to beat them, right? Well, both of these schools have two very talented big men. And not only just those two big men, but other guys who can complement those guys. And by those two guys, I mean KJ Sampson and Jarrett. I think this is the one state championship in recent memory where you have the two notables, I think, for both teams are in the interior. And so I think this is going to be one of those low-scoring juggernaut matches where you're just going to see sacks on one end, some tackles for losses on the other side. But ultimately, I think it's going to come down to a lot like this Grimsley-Weddington game. Very close scoring game. Who's going to have the ball last? Who can control the line of scrimmage and maybe win the field position battle? So this game I'm really excited about.
We'll get more into this one here as we get through the night. We're going to hear from KJ Sampson, head coach Tori Nowell in just a few minutes. Joel Bryant talked to them on the field after the game, so we're going to hear that interview. The 3A, we also know this state championship matchup. It'll be the 1 seed out of the East, Northern Nash at 15-0. They beat previously undefeated 71st tonight, 23-22. Scored in the last minute of the game to get that win. They will meet the 4 seed out of the West, also undefeated. East Lincoln, they beat South Point tonight 14-7. We've seen Northern Nash a couple times on High School OT Live. These are 2 teams that won close games tonight. It's going to be the only state championship game. I'm sorry, no, it's not. It's the second state championship game between 2 undefeated teams. Northern Nash played the only regional final game between 2 undefeated teams tonight. What do you think about this one?
I'm shocked. In all honesty, I have no disrespect to Northern Nash, but I honestly
that game was 3-0 Northern Nash at halftime.
Right, I honestly thought going up teams, if my memory serves me, I believe they are very run happy, to say the least. But I just felt like there were so many pieces in that 71st offense that I just felt like Northern Nash wasn't going to be able to answer all of those different questions, obviously, out of that backfield. But that's a testament clearly to their defense. I mean, say what you want about the offenses who've been playing well all season. The defense for Northern Nash is, I mean, they played as good as they probably played all season in this game to beat a really, really, really good 71st team. So shocked in that regard, just because I had 71st as one of the schools as I thought they would see a state championship this year, or at least an opportunity. But kudos to Northern Nash. And I also, South Point, correct?
East Lincoln.
No, but I'm saying they played South Point.
Yeah, they played South Point.
Right. South Point was another one. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know why I was just riding that train, but East Lincoln, again, maybe 3A isn't my thing, but they did the same thing. Again, great two hard-fought games that I think you can credit both defenses. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of a trend here in these state championship matchups as these defenses are starting to come to life to kind of win over or sway the pendulum one way or another in some of these ball games.
We're going to bring Brennan in real quick before we get to 2A. Brennan, you've got the last final score of the night.
Yep, Reedsville heading to another state championship. Not a shocker there, but they get the 32-14 win over Burns, and they'll be facing East Duplin, which won a very close game against Wallace Rose Hill in the 2A East matchup, which I'm sure we'll be talking more about soon.
How about right now? We'll go to that one in just about 10 seconds. All right, Brennan, stick around. We're going to get back to you here in just a few minutes. All right, so he just mentioned East Duplin, Reedsville. East Duplin tonight beat Wallace Rose Hill 28-26. We had the regular season game between these two on High School OT Live. Yes. I don't know if you remember that, but it went right down to the very end. Well, it did the same thing tonight. Wallace Rose Hill scored a 71-yard touchdown with like 30 seconds left, went for 2 to tie the game. It was stuffed by East Duplin to get the win, 28-26. And again, East Duplin at 14-1. They will take on the 1 seed out of the 2A West, Reedsville. They are also 14-1. They beat Burns 32-14 tonight. Could be another interesting matchup here. East Duplin's only been to 1 state championship in school history. Reedsville has been to like more than
David versus David versus Goliath of state championships. I feel like, doesn't Reedsville have like the state record for most state championships? Or
I'd have to check that. 22 state titles, Brennan says. This is their 29th appearance. So literally your age.
So they've been to one every year of my existence. Cool.
Not every year you've been alive, but one for every year you've been alive.
The math works out.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But again, this is one where, Reedsville, I think, has a really convincing win. Nothing really to see there, I think. I think they took care of business. Not the showing. I feel like you would want at the end. But again, sometimes that's just how it is. It's who plays the best game and has the best game plan for that night. So hats off to Reedsville, way to get back. But as far as the East Duplin Wallace Rose Hill game, I mean, as you said, heartbreak seems to run in that little rivalry there, because it's never a blowout loss. It's never a 2-score loss. It seems like they always come down to the wire. And honestly, you hope that that's not the state championship game. You know how you see that with the SEC a lot, where you'll have like the SEC championship game is the almost the national championship game, so to speak. And then it's like, oh, then Alabama or Georgia will play USC, and it's like, we know how that's going to turn out. And obviously, you hope that that's not the case here, but Wallace Rose Hill and East Duplin give us such a good game every time they play. It's hard to top it.
Yeah, we've seen two very good ones this season. All right, and finally, the 1A. In the 1A East, Tarboro, shocker, back in a state championship for the 6th straight year. They beat Rosewood tonight 35-7. They will face Mount Airy. Mount Airy beat Drawn 35-6. Tarboro and Mount Airy, both one-loss teams.
I wonder if they planned that.
You said what?
35-7, 35-6. I wonder if they planned it.
You know, that's a good question. Maybe we can ask. We will let's talk about this one. These are two teams, again, two programs with storied histories. Tarboro has been to 6 straight state championships. They've won 2 straight. This will be their 6th. They've won 2 straight. What do you think? Are Tarboro, Title Town, the favorite?
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and do what Todd Gurley and Sean Drawn would want me to do and say, Tarboro's probably the favorite. I'm only going to say that due to tenure. And when I say tenure, I mean they're there literally every year. You've won the last 2. Likely that you'll be in a good position to win this one. However, I think this matchup is one of, in recent memory, again, I think that this is one of the few matchups where it's almost as even as I've seen it for a Tarboro state championship. Usually I feel like it's more overwhelming. But here I feel like it's a little more evenly matched. I feel like they're going to have their work cut out for them if they're going to win this state title this year.
I'm getting some information from Brennan here. This is a rematch of the 2017 state championship game. Mount Airy, or Tarboro beat Mount Airy 32-7 in that one. I actually remember that game. Tyler Mason.
Mount Airy remembers that. And they're playing that back like a whole bunch right now. And we're going to avenge the 2017 team.
Well, they're running back tonight. Tarboro is known for all of their running backs, and they had some guys with some good games. We've got a game story up on HighSchoolOT from that game already tonight. But the Mount Airy running back Tyler Mason, 5 touchdowns tonight. He has 49 on the season through 15 games.
That sounds like your senior season.
It does. Yeah, I was really good at Madden back then. Very good at it. All right, so
they had the football game back then, though.
You said what?
They had the college football game back then.
They did back then. Yeah, ancient times. Real quick before we take our first commercial break, let's run down the final scores for you one more time. In the 4A East, Newbern defeats Millbrook 35-27. They will face Grimsley, the winner of the 4A West. They beat Weddington tonight 28-27. In the 3A East, Northern Nash beats 71st 23-22. They will face the West champion of 3A, the number 4 seed, East Lincoln. They beat South Point tonight 14-7. In the 2A East, East Duplin, the 2 seed, beats rival Wallace Rose Hill, the 12 seed, 28-26. They will head to the state championship game to face Reedsville. They beat Burns 32-14 in the 2A West. And then finally in the 1A in the East, Tarboro 35-7 winners over Rosewood. And in the West, the 4 seed Mount Airy goes to the state championship game. They beat Drawn 35-6 tonight. So some really good games, and we've got a lot more coming your way. We're going to hear from reporters from across the state over the next 2 hours, as well as some coaches, players. We've got interviews coming in right now. TJ will be here for a good portion of the night, and we will keep you abreast.
Newborn duty, everybody. So bear with me. I have a newborn, and
TJ will be here though next weekend for state championships.
For sure.
We're not going to miss those, right?
Oh,
you can bring the newborn with you. That'll be fun.
I think I might.
Yeah, you should. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Do you have the Breeze Through VIP Rewards app? For every dollar spent in-store and for every gallon pumped at a Breeze Through location, you can earn points to trade for a variety of your favorite snacks and beverages. Or for savings at the pump. Don't forget the member deals, only available to VIP members. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and start earning rewards today.
When you see a WRAL certified accurate forecast, you know it's been verified by the largest team of meteorologists with the most powerful tools in North Carolina.
We personally write every alert and send them directly to you so that you'll always know when severe weather is at your doorstep.
Tracking severe weather or everyday weather, no matter where or how you watch. Always local, always live, always protecting what matters to you.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I kid heard that solo!
You see if I did it?
Yeah!
Come on!
Wake up with the most watched.
Thanks for making us part of your routine.
Whether you're a 4 a.m. type or an 8 a.m. type.
Only one team is all local all morning long, alerting you first wherever you are. The building on fire.
So get the forecast you need to plan your day. Check out downtown Raleigh and traffic to get you wherever you need to go smoothly. Plus, breaking news and local coverage.
This is exactly what parents have to go through.
Tomorrow morning, every morning. Watch WRAL Mornings.
Welcome back to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens. We are getting all of our final scores are actually in right now. We know who will be playing for state championships on Friday and Saturday. Real quick, just give you the state championship schedule. On Friday night at UNC, 7 o'clock, the 4A state championship game between New Bern and Grimsley. Saturday morning, also at UNC, the 2A state championship game between East Duplin and Reedsville. And then the Saturday afternoon and evening games are going to be at Carter Finley Stadium at NC State. 3 o'clock will be the 1A state championship. Tarboro will take on Mount Airy. And then at 7 p.m., the 3A state championship, Northern Nash takes on East Lincoln. Again, those last two are at NC State. On Monday morning, we will have the state championship press conferences. That coverage will begin on High School OT about 10 o'clock Monday morning. Those will be at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Let's bring TJ Thorpe back in. TJ, we have our first guest of the night joining us, Ryan Jones, covering the Tarboro game. Tarboro 35-7 winners over Rosewood tonight to advance to their 6th straight state championship. Let's bring Ryan in. Ryan, tell us what went down in that game with Tarboro.
It was real sluggish, Nick and TJ. At the beginning of the game, it was heavy run by David Lamb, who came into the game with 899 yards and 12 TDs and averaging 142 yards a game. I really thought that they really controlled the pace in the first half. But here comes those two monsters, Mason Satterfield and Cameron McDowell Moore, who both are freshmen and sophomores.
Wow. Ryan, this was a close game for a little while, and then Tarboro just poured it on. Did they change anything, or did stuff just start clicking?
Defensively, they held Rosewood, convincingly, defensively, getting stops, keeping those guys from getting the football and moving the chains. Now, Tarboro ended up starting doing the toss sweep. And believe it or not, 2 of Tarboro's touchdowns came from busted plays. A busted play from the fullback was supposed to be a run up the gap, what they call the straight buck, run up the A gap. But apparently there was some miscommunication, and the quarterback goes in for 2 touchdowns on that, Omar Lewis. I just really think that Tarboro played their style of play, and they were able to still control the pace of the game. It's like playing run versus run. Your run game versus the Tarboro T versus Tarboro's run game. That's what pretty much kept the game where it needed to be.
TJ?
Well, one, I think you're biased. So hi.
Whoa. And all my Tarboro people, I told them I'm not going to be biased here. But I get it.
I knew it. He gave himself away when he knew exactly what happened, what was supposed to happen on the buck. And he was like, oh, they call it something else, but it's all good. It works. But again, I think that's Tarboro. I mean, they're one of those teams, like much like New Bern. It's hard to play against a team like that from behind because they're so good at what they do. They're a well-oiled machine, but they can eat up so much clock, and they cut down the amount of possessions you get on the back end. And even once you do get those possessions, should you do something with them, the likelihood of you having 2 and 3 possessions in a half without turnovers or in a quarter and a half, whatever, without turnovers is very slim. So you have to be very conscious about, sustaining drives and keeping that Tarboro offense off the field. So I didn't necessarily get to see the full game of that one, but I'm pretty sure I know how that went.
It's interesting, like this style of play, running the T stat box, in the game of today, we're used to, in different areas of North Carolina, we're used to seeing guys in the spread, in the huddle, the passing game. But here comes good old Tarboro, baby. Straight up run it down your throat, run. Not your typical game you want to see and watch, but it's still good for football. And I know you're going to say, here he go with that stuff again. Here he go.
He told on himself. I mean, I'm not going to say he was going for Rosewood, but very evident that he wasn't going for Tarboro. He was not going for Tarboro. That's like me saying, you know what? I'm not going to go for Jordan. I'm going to go for Panther Creek. I'm going to just be a Panther Creek fan the rest of the time. Like, come on.
By the way, Panther Creek beat Jordan tonight in basketball. So,
ooh.
Did Amari play?
No.
Well,
Ryan,
type of way, Jordan, we're going to have a discussion about this.
Ryan, Tarboro is going to play Mount Airy. It's a team they've seen before in a state championship game. What do you think? Any chance Tarboro doesn't come away with their 3rd straight state title?
Listen to the coach.
They're going to be the favorite.
Listen to the coach.
Gonna say there's a chance they don't. Yeah, okay.
I did a post-game interview with Coach Crowder, and he talked about this is a different Mount Airy team that they faced a while back in the state championship. They're running new things like the triple option and other things in the offense that the old coach had in play. So he thinks this should be a very exciting game to watch, and for us, the viewers, to watch, and for him to coach in, because he thinks it's not the same Mount Airy team he played against. So I'll just say we'll see.
That sounds
big of you. Look, he sent a text message prior. He's like, hey, y'all, I'm gonna say a few things. Don't necessarily, I gotta do my job.
All right. Ryan Jones, we appreciate it. Have a good night.
Hey, thanks. Same to you guys.
Salute.
All right, TJ, that's the 1A East. Again, Tarboro will face Mount Airy in the state championship game. We're going to hear a report from Jeff Link and David Jones of Scoreboard Radio shortly. They were at that game, calling that game on the radio. So we will get back to the 1A here in just a few minutes. Until then, I want to go back, and we've got some interviews coming in right now from 4A. I'm going to start in the 4A West, TJ. Grimsley head coach Daryl Brown talking to our Kyle Morton after their 28-27 win over Weddington.
Daryl, congratulations. You're going back to a state championship game. After all this group has been through, what's kind of going through your mind emotionally in that moment?
I'm just proud of our kids. It was hard. It's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Anything worth having is hard. And we talked about that. For these 60 young men to not lose faith and continue to believe just says a lot about them. And I'm proud of them, proud of our coaching staff. And, made some good adjustments at the half defensively, and just really proud of them. And it's a great night. So.
Second quarter was tough for your defense. They call a heck of a game, and they execute it well over there. You mentioned those halftime adjustments. What did you kind of change defensively to shut them down a bit?
Well, as much as anything, we said we weren't going to sit back and wait anymore. We were playing a lot of zone coverage early in the first half, and they were picking us apart. And just felt like we needed to be more aggressive and play to win. And, they still made some big-time plays, but we made stops when we had to make them. 2 huge blocks on the extra point and the field goal. And we spent a lot of time on special teams, and it's a credit to our guys and their belief.
Mitchell really had a nose for the end zone tonight, the 2 from a yard out, and then the big one where he really bullied his way in for what ended up being the game winner. What did you see from him?
Same thing we see every week. I mean, just a tough, hard-nosed kid. Runs it between the tackles, great balance, very physical. How about our offensive line against a really good defense? And those guys have been awesome all year, so special group.
It's going to be Newbern in the state championship game. A little bit of an oddity at 4A, a triple option team. How much do you know about them, and what are you kind of expecting to see when you get the film, and what do you need to do to be ready for them on Friday?
I don't know nothing. I mean, I know they're a triple option just because I've heard. Never seen them play, never played against them. So we'll have a lot of work to do this weekend. Triple option. Know a little bit about it. I ran it some in high school and coached in it when I was early in my career. So you have to be extremely disciplined against that offense. And it's going to take a great week of preparation from our guys.
TJ, the triple option is a different offense than what we normally see, particularly at the 4A level. How hard is it to prepare for that?
Well, in a week's time, it's definitely not easy. I know at UNC we used to have to play against the Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech. I don't know if you remember that offense, but it was the triple option. And I remember we always played better when we had a bye week. Like when we came off the bye week, we had that extra week to prepare. It was a lot easier, but it's that week where, as a corner, there ain't going to be a lot of passing, but it's also the week that you have to, it's pivotal that you have to follow your assignments. I don't know how many times they preach it, but it's the one offense where if you make the one wrong mistake and do something that you're not coached to do, it could be the difference between a stop for 5 yards or a stop for 2 yards. And as you know, Nick, and you've seen many times with Newbern and Tarboro and a lot of these offenses, striking the band. And it's like, it's that, and then it's 4-down football. You know that those are the teams that they're not trying to get the first down and 3 downs because they have no intention of punting. They just want to make it manageable so they can go for it. If they have 4th and 2, 4th and 3, they're going for it. You know it. And so this is where alignment, assignment, reading your keys, all that comes into play. So, again, as a coach, it's not the offense you want to face in a week's time. But I do think, if you're going to have a chance, you got to be disciplined. And I think it's pivotal that you look at your front. Secondary, not so much, but it's definitely a numbers game up front.
One of the guys that's going to be important for that is John Jarrett. Kyle also spoke to him, the big defensive lineman committed to where?
Go Dogs! Hunker down, Dogs!
Here's Kyle's interview with the big man up front, John Jarrett of Grimsley.
John, congratulations. You're going to the state championship game. Tough win over Weddington here. Second quarter was tough for you guys defensively. that they call a heck of a game over there. They execute it really well. What did you guys kind of change to make sure you could adjust and shut them down in the second half?
Well, Coach, first thing he said, we got in the locker room, said we will win this game. Said come out and play tougher than usual, you know. Came out there, did that. I felt like we started a little bit slow first half, but we came back second half and did what we had to do.
What did you see from the offense out there? Obviously, Mitchell, unbelievable tonight with the 3 touchdowns. What did you see from them kind of execute?
They stopped us a little bit, but they ain't stopped our momentum. We kept our heads high, we kept pushing, and that's the game right there.
You committed on this field before the season started. It was a big moment for you. I asked you what your goals were for the season. You said it was the chip. What does it mean to you to be going there to be 1 win away from it now?
It's a blessing, man. All the hard work that we've been putting in, man, has been paying off. And this is our view of, like, you know, saying all the hard work's paying off. So we're going there, man.
I don't know how much you know about New Bern, but it's a triple option team. Your job as a run stuffer is going to be huge.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking forward to getting to see them on film and getting ready for this week?
Man, wing T, we love it. We just got prepared for it. Back in the lab Monday, preparing our team. You know, we had to face this earlier in the playoffs with Charlotte Catholic, but this is a pretty good team. My boy KJ Sampson's over there, so it's going to be a great game.
Those 2 blocks on the extra point and the field goal really end up winning you this game. You know, how big is it to get special teams contributions like that?
That's all we repped all practice. We know it was going to come down to these big-time moments, and those big-time moments came, and we held our own.
All right, so that was Ja Jarrett. TJ, looks like you're typing right now. Ja is somebody who appeared on the TJ Thorpe show this summer. Are you surprised to see him in this position? And give me your answer in about 30 seconds if you can.
No. No, I mean he's the largest, most dominant person KJ's going to show me otherwise in the state championship game. In the state. I mean, he's a monster of a man, and he demands a lot of attention. And
yeah, absolutely. All right, it's time for us to take our second break of the night. When we come back, we are going to hear from the 1A West and the 4A East. That's right after this quick break.
It made perfect sense. I come here every day because of the great customer service and friendly atmosphere. So I bought my Breeze Through Lifetime Refill mug. For only $19.99, I got a stainless steel mug and get free refills forever. Or grab a regular refill mug for $9.99 and enjoy discounted refills every time you stop by. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else.
Show your support for the best in the Triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank.
From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome to my new holiday outpost at WRAL's Nights of Lights. My elves are hard at work preparing the holiday selfie stations, crafts, and more. And of course, Mrs. Claus and I'll be there. Reserve your visit now.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo? At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
I get her! Not solo! You saying I did? Yeah! Come on!
At WRAL, we have the tools.
Storms are firing up on the Dual Doppler 5000 radar.
We have the team.
We are live here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street.
And WRAL News at 6 has the people you've known and trusted for decades.
I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We begin tonight with breaking news. Every night,
everywhere.
I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon.
No matter how you're watching.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens. We're going to move now to the 1A West. TJ Thorpe joining us as well here tonight. And talk. We're going to talk to the 1A West. David Jones, Jeff Link of Scoreboard Radio. They covered the Mount Airy win over Drawn, 35-6. The final score. Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Well, we're a little chilly tonight. Calling the game literally from the back of Jeff's pickup truck on the 20-yard line.
Oh gosh.
Stadium. If anybody's ever been to Mount Airy, a terrific high school football town, terrific jumbotron in the just a small little press box. We're down here on the field. It was all Mount Airy tonight. Tyler, we don't have official stats. Had to be over 300 yards on the ground, 2 touchdown runs of over 80 yards apiece. He had all 5 touchdowns for the Granite Bears. Final score 35-6 faced Tarboro Saturday. Impressive football team that Mount Airy Coach Atkins has a lot of juniors on this football team, including the quarterback Gallimore, who was hard downhill behind the runner. So that game between the Vikings and the Granite Bears, Carter family looking to be a good one.
You mentioned the 1A state championship is going to be Mount Airy and Tarboro, 2 programs that are historically very good. Tarboro going into their 6th straight state championship game. They've won 2 in a row. What do you guys, I know you haven't seen Tarboro, but what do you guys think about this Mount Airy team stacking up a team like Tarboro? This is a typical Tarboro team, very talented. They're going to run the ball, the Tarboro team. How do you think they stack up against this Tarboro team?
Well, it all ends with Mason McCall. He's a special player. I mean, he's got one. We had a couple of years ago when we followed the Highbright into their state championship. They had a young man by the name of G. Witherspoon that is now playing. And talking about that on our way today, we were trying to compare Nigel Dula, who's the big running back for Drone, how he compared to G. Witherspoon. We said he just didn't have an extra bit of speed, and we saw it here tonight with Mason McCall. He got here, and you got to have 7, 8, 9 guys for triple option. You got to discipline. Their quarterback runs it well, sells the fake well, and it was the situation tonight with Drone where Drone got into between the 20s. They moved the ball, but it was the defense also for Mount Airy that stepped up when the ball got to the 20s. They were able to, or inside the red zone, they were able to stiffen that defense, keep Drone out of it. So the focus will be on the offense. And Mount Airy, don't count their defense out because this was an explosive Drone team that they were able to shoot out.
Nick and TJ, I'll say this, had the size of trenches tonight, but TJ, I mean, the dirt guy, it was the speed and the agility of that front line of Mount Airy. The Drone offensive line couldn't sustain blocks, hands on them. Mount Airy had the ability to box, lateral speed, sideline to sideline. Outside of a couple of big runs by Dula, first play of the game, 58, 50-yard later. If Tarboro is big up front, I haven't seen them, but if they're big up front, but they don't have the quick, choppy feet, Mount Airy is going to give Tarboro a game this Friday. I think Tarboro will be the hand going in. They'll be favored, but anytime you got a back Mason, he went over 1,000 yards for the season tonight. I think he had 41 touchdowns coming in, 5 more. Hey, football didn't run the ball.
TJ?
I agree. 100%.
Thanks for blowing up TJ's ego, calling him a return man.
I thought you were Devin Hester for a minute there.
Hey, look, see, now that would have did wonders for me right there now. But in all seriousness, everything you said is spot on. I mean, that's the one thing I was thinking in my mind was if they're an athletic front, that might be the one thing Tarboro has not seen. And you spoke to, them being able to shed blocks, get sideline to sideline, but remain disciplined. That's the biggest piece is being able to one, you're already a very, I guess, I don't want to call them one dimensional because they choose to just run the ball, right? But once you decide to cut off sideline to sideline and squeeze everything in between the tackles, it's a lot easier to stop a dive back than a fake dive pitch, and cut off the edges. And that keeps your corners from having to tackle. And we know we don't really want the corners to get involved as much as we can. So again, I'm excited to hear that description of what Mount Airy was doing. And I'm hoping that this is, again, Nick, it's setting up that avenge the 2017. And from everything we've seen about Mount Airy on High School OT, they are definitely a scrappy bunch. So I'm excited.
All right. Throw the ball, to be honest, too. I mean, they do have a wrinkle in there. They'll kind of like Georgia Tech used to do under Paul Johnson. they'll sling it about once every 5 or 6 plays. If you've got your defensive backs creeping up, they'll sling one on you. They didn't complete many tonight, but they do have that in.
David Jones, Jeff Link, Scoreboard Radio. Thank you guys very much for joining us again this week. I will see you guys in the morning, I think, right?
Yeah, 9:40 in the morning. You'll be on the scoreboard there in Northwest North Carolina. We've got lots to talk about out of those winter meetings. I'm so angry that I did not get the shot clock in high school basketball. Where I appeal process? I want to file the appeal immediately.
And I'm the former AD and the former principal that's looking at him saying there's a reason you didn't get that shot clock. It's all about the money. Somebody's got to operate it. Somebody's got to pay for it.
I want the quality of the game.
I'm looking forward to this now.
You gotta have a shot clock. Like, come on, you gotta get them ready for the next level. Get them ready.
TJ is my man.
The shot clock would come into effect like once a game, maybe.
I mean, you never know. You know those zone teams that just sit and hold, like, just will sit back and like, nah, come out here and guard somebody, man. Quit playing.
Back the zone.
Bring back 5 seconds while you're at it, too.
Hello.
All right. We'll do this in a basketball show. Thank you, guys. I'll see y'all in the morning.
See you guys. A lot of fun.
Have a good one.
All right. So, again, 1A state championship, Tarboro, Mount Airy, both one-loss teams. That's 3 o'clock Saturday at NC State, Carter Finley Stadium. So, we'll look forward to that. All right. We're going to have Joel Bryant joining. Well, Joel Bryant was here just a minute ago. He is not here now. Might be having some connection issues. He's on his way back from New Bern. So while we wait for him, let's hear from New Bern head coach Tori Nowell and a guy that you might have heard of, KJ Sampson.
Oh. All right, ma'am. What do you have to say for opening statements? Go Bills. Congratulations. You did it.
Thank you.
The thoughts that are going through your mind right now.
We expected this. We knew it was going to be a dogfight. We just wanted to make sure we persevered and got through it.
Got out to the big lead, or got out to the lead and kept kind of trading blows, but you were able to hold on. But the lead was important for you guys to get out to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big thing we told our guys after halftime, they don't score anymore, we win. When we have a really great defense, that's a big deal right there. You just got to keep battling. That's a big thing. Just keep battling, keep fighting, and we just can't let people score on us.
Damari, offensively but defensively, he came through for you.
Damari Tucker's going to go to college as a safety. He's probably one of the best safeties in the state. He just plays quarterback for me.
How does it feel that you get a chance to play for a state title, Coach?
Hey, man, exactly 4 years from today, man. We're back in it again, man. We're in there again.
Your senior class, you said so much about the senior class, but for them to fulfill their destiny, except for this last game.
And that's the big thing for us right now. Hey, KJ, come here. And this guy right here, man, the pressure that they put on him all season, he's one of the big-time football players, and he stepped up to it this year, and that's what that senior class is all about. KJ Sampson, Tavian Green, Will Brimmer. We got so many guys that I can name, man, but they're special to me, and I just love those guys.
All right, big man, you want come here.
What adjustments do you need to make for next week? Yeah, we just got to get back to practice, get back in the drawing boards, take care of business. That's all it is.
All right, KJ, step in here. You're going back to the state, or going to the state championship for you for the first time. What's that mean for you?
Yeah, man. Ever since I got here, it's all about getting New Bern back to the big game. And just looking at number one every time we step on this field, every time we step on the field, just reminding myself that we will do it. And now it's just back to the big game next.
Tell me about the game a little bit. Hey, you traded punches with them for a while, and they didn't give up there at the end, but defense came through time and time again.
Yeah, our big philosophy is that we bend when we don't break. When offense has our back, defense, and we have their back. I mean, we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
Yes, sir, baby! Yes, sir, baby!
But
yes, sir, baby!
Just being able to get back to
yes,
the
sir!
It's great.
Yes, sir!
For you, I know this is what you've been working for the whole year. How does it feel to actually be able to follow through on this?
I mean, it's great. It's great. I mean, looking at all the people that came before us, watching Mike Hughes and all those guys when I was little, and I'm just seeing it now, just being able to do the same thing.
We're going to the ship, baby! We're going to the ship!
Congratulations, brother. I'm happy for you.
All right, that was KJ Sampson and head coach Tori Nowell of New Bern. They beat Millbrook tonight in the 4A Eastern Regional Championship game. 35-27 to advance to the 4A state title game. Let's bring in Joel Bryant. He was there in New Bern for us tonight, and Joel is on his way back to Raleigh. Joel, tell us what happened.
It was a great game. The first half was like a fever dream. All the scoring we had this scenario there where we had 3 straight touchdowns on 3 straight plays. There was a New Bern touchdown, the Millbrook kickoff return, and then the New Bern kickoff return. The first half was very eventful. It was 35-20 at halftime, and then the second half was much less so. The defenses really stepped up. At the end there, New Bern had a fumble, and then Millbrook drove all the way down the field to get within one score, and then Millbrook had an onside kick, which they got, and then New Bern ultimately stopped them on 4th and goal from the 5. So that was with about 1:20 left in the game. So New Bern's defense, like Hanson said, they bent a little bit, but they didn't break when it mattered the most.
TJ, you got a question?
I mean, it was pretty cut and dry as far as I'm concerned. At the most of the game, it seemed like the fireworks were 3 plays. And honestly, I think answering a special teams touchdown with another special teams touchdown is really seems like the difference in the game. I know a lot of times when one team has a special teams, one team has one and another one doesn't. Usually it favors the team that has a special teams touchdown, that or a takeaway. And so when you are able to combat that with your own generated offense outside of offense or defense, those are always game-changing plays that, as you can see, can make or break a game. And then again, just what KJ was saying, and the bend don't break. You got the big guy up front. Something tells me when he decides, hey, I think it's time for us to make a stand on the 5, there aren't too many people in high school football who are going to tell him he can't or tell him and his counterparts they can't. And as you've heard, again, more pieces that you hear from this New Bern squad. How do you stop or maybe quiet down a very talented Nathan Leacock and Ty Broughton and a great passing offense? Well, you have a very, very talented safety that just so happens to be a really, really talented quarterback as well. So I think New Bern is a very well coached team, Millbrook as well. And this is another game that came down to the one possession or the last play or however that looks. Just kind of like how we expected. So I'm really happy again to hear all the good things from these games.
Joel, TJ and I were talking about the matchup that we're going to see. I guess we'll see it against each other, but the 2 defensive lines that we're going to see in the state championship game. You've seen Grimsley and New Bern in person now. What are your thoughts on this matchup headed into the 4A game Friday night, 7:00 at UNC?
Along the defensive line or in general?
We'll start with the defensive line, but in general.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're in a situation where you have 2 4-star defensive tackles that are seniors between John Jarrett and KJ Sampson. TJ knows them well from his show. But there's other guys on those defensive lines. New has another defensive tackle, Tavion Cox. That guy is a beast on his own. There are plays when the other team actually doubles him instead of KJ. So both these defensive lines are stacked. Bryce Davis, the sophomore from Grimsley, this is a defensive end that already has multiple FBS offers, including from Georgia. So they have the top end talent, but they're also really deep. So that's the thing that makes them both special. They're probably the best defensive lines in the state. Overall, it's going to be I suspect it's going to be a high scoring game. A lot of these defenses, they've made the plays when it's mattered this season, but they've also had some moments of leakiness as well. I think we're going to see a pretty high scoring
game. 2 different offenses too.
Yeah. Grimsley's going to be similar to what New Bern's seen the last 2 weeks with more of a spread approach. They do a lot of read option stuff with their quarterback, Ryan Stevens, who's really good with his feet. New Bern tonight, their top corner, Amari Berth, he kind of traveled Nathan Leacock a little bit. Leacock got him a couple of times, but there's also plays where Berth got him a couple of times. Berth had an interception, a big 3rd down. But the thing with Grimsley is they got 2 of those guys. It's not just one. So... Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different of a test, but it's going to be – that game's going to have so many fireworks. I can't wait to see.
All right.
I agree. I did want to ask one question in regards to you've seen both of these teams play. Have you seen Grimsley play anything remotely close to what they're going to see out of New Bern on the offensive side of the ball?
I don't think so. I mean, New Bern might be the only team in 4A that regularly runs. That comes to mind. At least they're the most successful team by far that does it. It's a lot. Like you said, it's a lot to prepare for in 1 week, right? You're coming straight from a Weddington team that really spreads you out, then to the complete opposite in New Bern. So that's a tough challenge, but that's a good staff. And when you have guys like Josh Jarrett and Bryce Davis on that defensive line, they can kind of mitigate a lot of the factors there just by their sheer talent. So
right.
That's definitely the key. Like you said, that's the key for that game.
All right, Joel Bryant covering New Bern tonight. Their win over Millbrook for us. We appreciate it. Have a safe trip back.
Yep.
TJ, before we go to our next break, I want to inflate your ego a little bit more. We got a comment here from someone watching who says the TJ Thorpe show is the road to success. You got KJ Sampson.
Hey, man, well, you're a smart brother and or sister. I don't know because I can't see your face, but I'm going to assume you're a smart brother. Yeah. Whoa.
That's why we keep them around. Season 2 coming up this summer.
Well, here's the thing, though. Season 2, but we gotta do some things as well because there's a lot of talent that we talk about constantly. Jamil Williams.
We got some big plans coming.
Okay.
We're not ready to tell everybody yet.
We just got to start. You just push it over there a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go over to TJ's this weekend and give him some.
We got to brainstorm, everyone, but we got some cool things coming. And I promise you, I'm gonna make Nick the coolest dude that y'all have ever seen in high school OT history after Tom Suter. Shout out Tom Suter.
All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Kyle Morton, who is covering the other 4A game, the Grimsley-Weddington game out west. And J. Mike Blake also coming up here shortly. He was also in the west tonight covering the 2A West, Burns, and Reedsville. They will play East Duplin in the state championship. That's coming up next after a quick break.
It made perfect sense. I come here every day because of the great customer service and friendly atmosphere. So I bought my Breeze Through Lifetime Refill mug. For only $19.99, I got a stainless steel mug and get free refills forever. Or grab a regular refill mug for $9.99 and enjoy discounted refills every time you stop by. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else.
Show your support for the best in the Triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank.
From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome to my new holiday outpost at WRAL's Nights of Lights. My elves are hard at work preparing the holiday selfie stations, crafts, and more. And of course, Mrs. Claus and I'll be there. Reserve your visit now.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
At WRAL, we have the tools.
Storms are firing up on the Dual Doppler 5000 radar.
We have the team.
We are live here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street.
And WRAL News at 6 has the people you've known and trusted for decades.
I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We begin tonight with breaking news. Every night,
everywhere.
I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon.
No matter how you're watching.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens here in Raleigh, about to wrap up our first hour of coverage from the regional championships. I want to bring in TJ Thorpe again. TJ and I have been here talking about all of these games. We spent a lot of time talking about the 4A. We're going to wrap the 4A up here with one more interview. Kyle Morton of High School OT joining us. He was at Grimsley tonight. Grimsley's been giving us some great games in the playoffs. They get a 28-27 win over Weddington. Kyle, this was a dramatic ending again.
Yes, it sure was. It comes down to really two blocks by Grimsley, a blocked extra point that kept it a 6-point game, and then a blocked field goal to keep it a 6-point game because Weddington would have gone up 2 scores if that had been good. And then Grimsley returns it a bit, goes down, scores, and the rest is history with the stop.
TJ? Oh, I think we've got TJ muted.
He's muted.
That's so crazy, Nick. That's crazy. See, they give you the power of the mute button, and you just take it to the extreme. Whatever.
Look,
anyway.
I'm just saying, I'm not used to having the power to mute you.
You know what, Nick? We're not going to see each other tomorrow. We're not going to hang out anymore because, see, clearly you don't appreciate me, but that's fine. That's no problem. But who were, I guess, in that defensive stand for Grimsley? I would imagine 2 people come to mind, but I want to hear from you kind of your take on who were some of the pivotal pieces in Grimsley having yet another dramatic stop.
Well, the final drive really was kind of just an incompletion here and there, just good coverage from the secondary all around. There was one play that Weddington maybe got a foot in on a play they were called out of bounds that would have gotten them to about the 50. Didn't really end up making a difference because they still had 3 cracks to get the first down after that play, and they didn't get it. So Jaw Jarrett, though, all game causing havoc. He forced a fumble that they recovered, and he just is who he is. And that whole secondary is really strong. And it was really the coaching staff because they were kind of getting picked apart in the second quarter. And all of a sudden after halftime, they're back forcing turnovers, causing havoc and getting in that backfield and keeping Weddington off the scoreboard for the most part. So I think it's all about that coaching staff and what they were able to do to make some adjustments because Weddington calls such a good game. Just the way they mix up their play calling and throw in a couple trick plays here and there and just kind of keep you off your toes because it's a bunch of different run concepts and then some easy quick hitters on the outside. So that's a tough team to defend, and Grimsley found a way to do it.
And I'm so glad you mentioned the fact that the secondary stepped up for Grimsley because often they are very overshadowed, no pun intended, but they are often overshadowed by the defensive line in the front for Grimsley. But they do see a good, as we said, 2 great receivers or future great receivers over on the offensive side of the ball for Grimsley. So this secondary is very battle tested. And like you said, Weddington having some Anthony Boone ties since we were tooting the TJ Thorpe show horn recently. But having the Anthony Boone quarterback guru, type of deal, being able to touch some of that, it's not a shock that they're able to put together some really good concepts and keep, as you said, these offense or defenses on their toes. But looking forward now to the state championship, KJ, Ja, these 2 teams. What are you expecting? Because we've heard now that there's a lot of points we can expect to be scored against these 2 defenses. You're seeing it from the Grimsley standpoint. Do you think that that's a fair assessment?
Well, I talked to Coach Brown, and this is the second week in a row I've talked to the team that's gonna play New Bern and gotten to break that news to them that it's gonna be New Bern. They might have known tonight, but it's always the first question about New Bern at least is when was the last time you saw the triple option, and how ready are you for it? Gerald Brown hasn't seen it in a while. The first thing he mentioned was playing in it in high school. It was kind of the last time he encountered it. So they have the personnel to handle it. Jaw Jarrett as a run stopper, he's going to be able to get into that backfield and maybe sniff out where that ball's going before it's gone. And that's going to be a difference maker for them with all the athleticism they have on defense in general. I don't know. I mean, New Bern's been scoring, but both of these teams are so well-rounded. I could honestly see it being high-scoring or low-scoring. I just think it's going to be close. I think whichever team kind of sets the the tone early, whether it's offensive or defensive. The other team will follow, and they'll either hold each other down or match each other blow for blow on the scoreboard, I think, personally.
All right. Kyle Morton covering Grimsley's win tonight, 28-27 over Weddington. They will face New Bern in the 4A state championship. We appreciate it, Kyle. We'll see you back here. Hopefully not too much longer.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this late night traffic is. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds good. See you, Kyle. All right, we are going to take another break. When we come back, it'll be J. Mike Blake joining us from Burns and Reedsville. We'll also hear from Chris Miller of the Jacksonville Daily News. He had the other 2A game in the East, Wallace Rose Hill and East Duplin. So it'll be a 2A block when we get back.
2A. Do you have the Breeze Through VIP Rewards app? For every $1 spent in-store and for every gallon pumped at a Breeze Through location, you can earn points to trade for a variety of your favorite snacks and beverages, or for savings at the pump. Don't forget the member deals, only available to VIP members. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and start earning rewards today.
WRAL's Nights of Lights is back with thousands of new lights. Along the route, you'll encounter 30-foot-tall dinosaurs and a brand new 250-foot animated tunnel. Get your tickets now, as some experiences are already sold out. Stop by the brand new Holiday Outpost and meet Santa. Ho, ho, ho! Get your tickets now at WRALNightsofLights.com.
Wake up with the most watched.
Thanks for making us part of your routine.
Whether you're a 4 a.m. type or an 8 a.m. type.
Only one team is all local all morning long, alerting you first wherever you are. The building on fire.
So get the forecast you need to plan your day. Check out downtown Raleigh and traffic to get you wherever you need to go smoothly. Plus, breaking news and local coverage.
This is exactly what parents have to go through.
Tomorrow morning, every morning. Watch WRAL Mornings.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You see I did?
Yeah!
TJ, you like that commercial?
It was a great commercial.
I saw you laughing in the background. All right, let's talk about some 2A football. 2A West, Reedsville, the 1 seed. They beat the 3 seed Burns 32-14. Let's bring in J. Mike Blake. He made the trip to Reedsville tonight. J. Mike, tell us what happened.
This was just a stellar defensive performance from Reedsville. Burns was never really in the game. There was a chance maybe where if they got some points right before half, they don't have a kicking game, so they kind of had to go for the end zone, ran out of time. It's 17-0 at halftime, and it was one of those games where you can tell Reedsville, first of all, they win this game as far as like which team looks more impressive walking off the bus, right? They are huge and athletic and all over the place, and Burns kind of looked more like a, pretty good, above average 2A team. But we saw that athleticism really take form when Reedsville does what every defensive coordinator wants to be able to do. I'm not going to have to blitz. My 4 defensive linemen are just going to get pressure on the quarterback, and he's going to have to run for his life and make dangerous throws into my great secondary. And that was the ingredients. That was the recipe the whole night. And Burns, you could tell, just not gone up against either a front 4 that had to make them run like that all year, which they have. Maybe they have. They play some good teams, right? Tough schedule. But they probably didn't see the combination of that plus that secondary that Reedsville has. We have a freshman with 12 interceptions this year leading the state. And then you have a kid in they call him Flip, is Naisheen Flippin, who had a 96-yard pick 6 tonight. Because nothing was open downfield. And Burns has a great quarterback, Ben Money. He was all-state for us last year, Nick, as a baseball player. 32 touchdowns this year, all these passing numbers. Tonight, there was nothing there for him. It's a really dominating performance by Reedsville. They won 32-14, but Burns gets a score right there towards the end. They actually got a safety and then scored after it. to make it look a little bit closer than it was.
TJ?
It's funny because I was thinking it was going to be a, fire zone type of night, a lot of blitzing, a lot of scheme, that they didn't see, but on a good old fashioned, we're just gonna out physical you. It sounds like we want it a little more than you all do, but it's good to hear that the future's bright in Reidsville, as far as the secondary goes, because you have freshmen with 12 picks. I mean, somebody's walking around with a car seat strapped to their butt because whoever that is lights out. And then again, you talk about not just one player, but then you have 12 picks here. You have a 96-yard touchdown here. These guys aren't settling for the offense to do anything. They're going out there taking matters into their own hands defensively.
Yeah. So on the season, let me pull it up real quick. Ben Money, the quarterback for Burns this year, 3,200 yards, 36 touchdowns, only 5 picks. He had 3 picks tonight. 2 to Lorenzo Mendoza, a senior. Deontay Neal is the freshman. He didn't add to his list tonight of 12 picks. And then Keyshawn Flippin with the 96-yard pick 6. Speaking of freshmen, TJ, here's an idea for the TJ Thorpe. So next year, you got to go see 2 would-be sophomores, because not only is Deontay Neal putting up his numbers, there's a freshman. He caught a touchdown pass as a tight end. And he also played defensive line, and he was one of those guys getting in the backfield. 6'8", 230, Kendra Harrison. Know the name. 6'8", 230 freshman. And I was on the Burns sideline because I get the backdrop of the big press box in Reidsville. And they were like, man, at 18, I was like, he's a freshman? And they were just like, or I was like, you're going to have to get through him the next 3 years in the playoffs. And they're like, 3 years? He's a sophomore this year. No, he's a freshman. And apparently he's a really, really good basketball player.
I was waiting for it. I was like, stop killing us. The suspense is killing me. Does he hoop?
His uncle is, if you know this name, it's a throwback name for everyone out there. His uncle is apparently CeCe Harrison. He's Kendra Harrison. Uncle CeCe, he played at NC State in like the early 2000s, late 90s. I grew up knowing that name. So,
TJ.
Those are rough years for NC State, but CJ Harris.
When are they not rough years for NC State? I'm sorry.
That's
I would say this year, but they lost
big
tonight,
facts right
so
there.
I don't think we can.
Undeniable.
Yeah.
TJ doesn't even know he's talking to a State alum. I don't think, but yes, undeniable.
It's not that I don't know. It's just that I don't care.
There you go.
You, Nick. Anybody, if you're not Carolina Blue, I just don't know what you are. Matter of fact, hold on. Huh? What's going on tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow? Okay, we won't get ahead of ourselves.
I can't respond, Nick.
The part about UNC that we need to talk about is the fact that the 2A state championship game will be at UNC on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock between Reidsville.
Where champions are born, guys.
In Reidsville, I have to go do some research, Nick. I think they said over the loudspeaker this, and we know they count state championships a little bit different than other programs because there were some years the association, like in the 70s, only had an East champ and a West champ, and they didn't play each other. Wow. The association's like, sorry, that wasn't a state championship that year. And Reidsville's like, no, we're counting those. Those are state championships. We went as far as we can go. So over the PA they're like, this next Saturday, they're going for their 23rd state title. This is why they call themselves the football capital of North Carolina.
Yeah, that is what they call themselves.
Hey, when you have 23 state championships, the only people maybe Independence and Tarboro might feel different.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, even if I'm going to go through and be like, okay, it's not really 20, it's recognized. Like, what am I doing? Like subtracting like 4 or 5? They still have what 18 or 19 state championships? Like, it's still pretty great. They're going to get mad if I don't count all 23, but it's still ridiculous how many state titles they have. And pretty much we're getting to the point now, last decade, like every graduating class that comes through there is getting rings, like multiple rings. And I got to talk to the Keyshawn Flippin tonight. And I'm like, I was like, wait, how many have you been? He's like, yeah, my freshman year, right? He's a junior. Like, yeah, about every 2 years, like I'm going to state title game. So it's good.
I wish they would have gave me
a
one.
Reidsville Ram these days.
All right, J. Mike Blake at Reidsville tonight. Thanks for joining us. Have a safe trip back.
No problem. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go to the 2A East. Chris Miller of the Jacksonville Daily News joining us. Chris, you had a boring finish, right? Really boring game.
Yeah, really boring game. Nothing really important happened this game. Just a great back and forth game between Duplin County rivals, East Duplin and Wallace Rose Hill tonight. Like I said, back and forth. It looked like East Duplin had control of the game, up 28-20 with 40 seconds left, and then Wallace Rose Hill scores on a 71-yard touchdown pass with 35 seconds left to get within 2, and then call a timeout, and then East Duplin makes the 2-point conversion stop with 35 seconds left, and then recovers an onside kick to take a knee and win the game. So it was a heavyweight fight between really two really great Duplin County programs.
We saw this game in the regular season. We had it on HighSchoolOT Live. And it was another really good one, right down to the wire. What did East Duplin say after this, after the win tonight? What was their reaction?
Obviously, they were celebrating. East Duplin has a post-game tradition at home games where they go to the locker room right after the game. Coach Battle Holly says a few things. Hey, great job, guys. And they do their little powwow. And then they all stay in their uniforms and they come back to the field and greet their friends, their family, the fans, and all that. So they certainly did that tonight. And just there's a lot of hugging, some crying. A couple of the players I interviewed after the game kind of got a little teary-eyed, and but just kind of a big celebration on in the field with East Duplin fans, coaches, and players and their families. Just one big kind of. Yeah, everybody just kind of stood around and celebrated.
TJ?
I don't know how that feels, and I wish I did. It hurts so bad, you know? It's like, what could have been? I was always crying, but it was because it was my last. It was like, oh, there's no more games after this. No, but in all seriousness, who defensively, because again, these two teams, you hear about the fireworks at the end from the offense. What were the defenses like, or at least East Duplin, since they're going to be moving on? What was their defense like tonight? Who stood out at least, or what? I guess what positions, maybe D-line, linebackers? Was it the front seven? Was it the secondary that gave them the edge tonight?
Keyshawn Johnson, senior defensive back, had a big interception about 3-4 minutes left in the game that allowed East Duplin to kill some clock and force Wallace Rose Hill to call the remaining timeout. So that was a big interception with him by him with about 3-4 minutes left. Cade Kennedy, senior linebacker, who also had like a 79-yard touchdown run early in the game. He leads the team in tackles. So he's a great kid. I did a story on him several weeks ago, and but it's kind of a you don't really have that one standout defensive guy that's going to be all state, but you have a bunch of guys that are just hungry to get to the ball, and they all work together. They all know their strengths and weaknesses, and they just fly to the football and work together to do that. So that's kind of what keys East Duplin's defensively.
And that's kind of what I was seeing too when I watched them the first time, as Nick said, HighSchoolOT. It wasn't one person that stood out. It looked like they were win by committee, and everybody rallied to the ball. Again, when you have a team like that, as you said, that's so hungry, tenacious, and gets after it on defense and plays together, it's a wonder why they're in this position again.
Yeah, exactly. But the interesting thing about this game was both East Duplin and Wallace Rose Hill are very similar in the fact that they don't throw the ball a lot. Especially Wallace Rose Hill didn't only throw the ball twice. East Duplin likes to throw the ball a little bit more throughout the season. But both teams wanted to control the time of possession, and it was a very quick game because only 4 passes total. This game were thrown, so it was a very fast game. Both teams wanted to control the tempo and run a play, wait till 1 or 2 on the play clock to run a play. So, like I said, it was a quick game for sure.
One more question for you. Did they have any thoughts about Reidsville yet?
No, not at the moment. Not during their celebration. East Duplin coaches and fans, even players, were aware that Reidsville was up by a couple touchdowns or 3 touchdowns at the moment. So they were anticipating playing Reidsville when they saw they were up like 24-6 or something like that. So, but they didn't really say, "Hey, look, we need to do this, we need to do that." They just kind of, "All right, hey, it looks like we got Reidsville next Saturday. Let's celebrate this tonight and start focusing on them tomorrow."
And real quick, tell us what kind of coverage you guys have coming.
Well, apparently, I guess the state press conferences is in Charlotte on Monday. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So my plan is to probably go to East Duplin practice on Monday and talk to some of the guys about. Obviously, you want to do a nice feature story on one of the players, and then probably some sort of team story to kind of previous state championship game. So we'll that's something that me and Coach Holly, Battle Holly, will talk about over the weekend. Hey, Coach, who's a good kid to do a story on, and do you have anything interesting? So we'll definitely have some stuff leading up to the game on Saturday.
All right, Chris Miller, Jacksonville Daily News. Thanks for the time, and good luck with all the coverage next week.
All right, you guys too.
All right, TJ, it's been fun, man. You've got dad duty, don't you?
I do have dad duty, and I'm like, I much prefer to talk football than change diapers, but you got to do what you got to do.
You do. TJ will be back with us next week as we have full coverage of the state championship.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be all over it. All 4 games we will have covered for you on High School OT. TJ and I will be here doing some coverage throughout the day on Friday and Saturday. And it'll be a good time. So, we will let you go, TJ. Thanks again for joining us tonight.
I appreciate it, my guy, even though you wanted to mute me. But that's fine. Now you have it all to yourself.
All right, man. We'll see you later. Have a good night.
All right, killer.
We're going to take another quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk to Robert Fergus of High School OT. He was at 71st and Northern Nash. We'll also hear from Joe Hughes of the Gaston Gazette and Shelby Star. He was covering South Point and East Lincoln. That's next here on the High School OT Postgame Show.
It made perfect sense. I come here every day because of the great customer service and friendly atmosphere. So I bought my Breeze Through Lifetime Refill mug. For only $19.99, I got a stainless steel mug and get free refills forever. Or grab a regular refill mug for $9.99 and enjoy discounted refills every time you stop by. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else.
Show your support for the best in the Triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank. From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome to my new holiday outpost at WRAL's Nights of Lights. My elves are hard at work preparing the holiday selfie stations, crafts, and more. And of course, Mrs. Claus and I'll be there. Reserve your visit now.
At WRAL, we have the tools.
Storms are firing up on the Dual Doppler 5000 radar.
We have the team.
We are live here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street.
And WRAL News at 6 has the people you've known and trusted for decades.
I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We begin tonight with breaking news. Every night,
everywhere.
I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon.
No matter how you're watching.
And that's coverage you can count on. When you see a WRAL certified accurate forecast, you know it's been verified by the largest team of meteorologists with the most powerful tools in North Carolina.
We personally write every alert and send them directly to you so that you'll always know when severe weather is at your doorstep.
Tracking severe weather or everyday weather, no matter where or how you watch. Always local, always live, always protecting what matters to you.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens here in Raleigh. The 3A East, Northern Nash, the 1 seed, taking on 71st, the 3 seed. Both teams came into this game 14-0. Northern Nash holds on for a 23-22 win. Want to hear one quick soundbite from Northern Nash head coach Andrew Ferris after this game, and then we're going to talk to Robert Fergus of High School OT, who covered that game for us tonight.
I mean, right there at the end, we were just we talked about whether to take time off the clock or just try to score. Some of our biggest players came up for us when we needed the most. Keno Jones and Ashton Rose, man, what a heck of a play to send us to the state championship. How exciting.
And we're going to hear more from him in just a little bit, but let's bring in Robert Fergus. Robert, Keno Jones, he was the playmaker tonight.
Yes, sir. Going into this game, I didn't know who was going to win. I had no clue. Both 14-0. They both started off the game to strong defensive play. Let me check my notes real quick. So the first touchdown didn't come to the third quarter. And then so the first drive, Northern Nash, they drove down the field pretty easily, but they only came up with 3 points. But yeah, Keno Jones with 2 touchdowns today. The really big one was the 7-yard pass to Ashton Rhodes with 58 seconds left in the game. For 71st, Anthony Quinn had 2 rushing touchdowns, and then his big play was a 27-yard touchdown that gave 71st their first lead of the game. So, yeah, it was a awesome game. Like I said, the atmosphere was amazing. Both teams fought hard. They really displayed, their strong suit on defense, really containing each other.
Mm-hmm. Tell us how it ended. That was a fantastic ending.
Yeah, so
not so much if you're 71st.
Yeah. No, I thought 71st had a chance with like under a minute left, but I mean, yeah, so Northern Nash gets the ball back after 71st scores. I believe they're maybe down 2 points, and
looks like we might have lost our connection with Robert.
The field, I believe they get a.
You are.
I'm back.
You're back now. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. You're back now.
Keno Jones, yeah, he drives on the field. They get a 4th down in the red zone, and then multiple timeouts are being called. They pick up. I believe it was Ashton Rhodes again on that 4th down. They picked up. I think it was like 4th and 10, and they picked it up. And then that's when it was like 1st and goal. And then that came down to, I believe, 3rd down. And then he hit the 7-yard pass to Ashton in the corner of the end zone. It was a touchdown, and that was it.
Did Northern Nash have any? This is only the second time in school history Northern Nash has been to a state championship. I don't know if they spoke about that, but did they have any thoughts on what's coming next week? Did they have any idea on that? They're going to be playing East Lincoln, who is also undefeated, 15-0. They beat South Point tonight, 14-7.
Well, like Coach said in the presser, I mean, he believes in his defense. There was a lot of adversity, and you would think they would break and fail, but I mean, they pushed through with whatever cards they were dealt with that game. So I'm gonna assume that going into the state championships, I mean, they have the same mindset. They're gonna respond with whatever they're faced with.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, Robert is headed back here to Raleigh. We will have coverage from that game tonight on High School OT. I think we actually already have a story up from that, but Robert will have some highlights and stuff and has some interviews as well. So, Robert, we'll see you in a little bit when you get back. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. That was Robert Fergus of High School OT. All right. We're going to switch gears now and go back to the 1A East. We're going to hear from head coach Jeff Craddock. Tarboro defeating Rosewood tonight 35-7. They go to their 6th straight state championship game, looking to win their 3rd straight title. This is head coach Jeff Craddock with our Ryan Jones.
This is Ryan Jones with HighSchoolOT of WRAL. And Coach Craddock, you're going back to a familiar place that you've always been to, and that's into the state championship. It's been a while since you lost a home game. So what was the the strategy going into this game against Rosewood?
We wanted to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. You know, they're a power running team. They run the ball extremely hard. They're very, very well coached. And then the same thing, you know, obviously offensively, figured they'd pack it in there. But we thought with our offensive line, Coach Burnett and Coach Duff doing what they do, hurt ourselves in the first half. You know, they really never stopped us, so we never punted the whole game. We stopped ourselves twice in the first half, but we cleaned it up and played a great second half. So it's just controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
Now your opponent, I want to say, is Mount Airy. You played them before. It's a different team. So where are we going with this?
Well, I know they've installed the triple option, shotgun triple option that we've had to face quite a few years ago. So it's going to be something similar. I know they're very good from what I hear. Of course, I haven't watched any film on them, but that's a different team. Obviously, the one we played, they got a different coach, and he's running a different system. And I know last year they felt like they should have played for the state title, and they let one get away. So I'm sure their sights are dead set red on Tarboro and, you know, wanting a little revenge. So we're going to have to play our best game and have a great week of preparation.
Well, with that being said, good luck, Coach. And
yeah, man.
All right, that was Tarboro head coach Jeff Craddock. We also caught up with the two running backs from Tarboro that had big games tonight. Ryan Jones caught up with them. Let's listen to that interview.
Cameron McDowell Moore and Mason Satterfield, the two running backs who drive the bus for Tarboro High. So you guys, sophomore, freshmen, championship comes through you guys. How do you guys feel about going against Mount Airy?
We're going to put in hard work all week, and we're going to outwork them. That's how we're going to beat them. Just got to have that grit, that determination, the drive, the effort. You got to want to be better than them. That's what we're going to do. We trust the coaches. We trust our players, and we're just going out there and we're going to work. We're going to outwork them.
And it's interesting because, you know, we're in Tarboro. You know, there's some pretty good running backs out here in the state. You got Jamel Williams out of Jamel out Hillside, excuse me, and you got the Herring kid out of New Bern. So, you know, you guys are representing at a young age. Those are some pretty young running backs. So what is it going to take to get to where you need to be with these guys, and as well as taking it to the next level in the next few years after the state championship?
Hard work, effort, determination. Like I said, grit. You got to want to strive to be better and just want it. You got to want it. We believe we're the best running backs in the world. Nobody's better than us, and every time we step on the field, we prove that.
What Mason said.
Well, that's all I got. This is Ryan Jones with HighSchoolOT of WR.
All right, and some information that I just got from Joel Bryan. Cameron McDowell Moore has more touchdowns than any NC North Carolina freshman since stats have been kept on Max Preps. So that's pretty impressive there for the freshman at Tarboro. And, of course, Tarboro will go on to play in the 1A state championship game. They will play Mount Airy in that game. Mount Airy beat Drone tonight 35-6. That game is Saturday, 3 o'clock. At NC State. Again, 35-7. Tarboro the winner tonight over Rosewood, setting up that 1A state championship. Tarboro in the 6th straight state championship game. They are looking to win their 3rd straight state title. We're going to take another quick break. When we get back, we will talk to we're going to hear from New Bern after their win over Millbrook, and we're going to also hear from Grimsley. We will later on hear from Tarboro and Rosewood from the lens of Kai Jones of WJG Sports. Joe Serrero of the Greensboro News and Record will join us to talk about Grimsley's trip to the state championship. And Rod Baxley, the Fayetteville Observer, will wrap up the 71st season. That's all coming up here on the HighSchoolOT Postgame Show.
Do you have the Breeze Through VIP Rewards app? For every dollar spent in-store and for every gallon pumped at a Breeze Through location, you can earn points to trade for a variety of your favorite snacks and beverages, or for savings at the pump. Don't forget the member deals, only available to VIP members. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and start earning rewards today.
WRAL's Nights of Lights is back with thousands of new lights. Along the route, you'll encounter 30-foot-tall dinosaurs and a brand new 250-foot animated tunnel. Get your tickets now, as some experiences are already sold out. Stop by the brand new Holiday Outpost and meet Santa. Ho, ho, ho! Get your tickets now at WRALNightsoflights.com.
Instructor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
Yeah!
Show your support for the best in the triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank.
From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome back to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens here in Raleigh. Want to bring in our brackets real fast and show you where things stand now after tonight's games. We'll start in the 4A playoffs. You see Grimsley, the 1 seed out of the West, will face the 2 seed Newbern out of the East in the 4A state championship game. That game is Friday night, 7 o'clock at Keenan Stadium on the campus of UNC in Chapel Hill. Again, Grimsley and Newbern. Newbern beat Millbrook tonight, 35-27, the final score there. Newbern now 15-0 on the season. Grimsley also 15-0 after beating Weddington tonight, 28-27. We'll go to the 3A state playoffs, and you see the state championship matchup at the 3A level. The 1 seed Northern Nash, after a 23-22 win over 71st tonight, a battle of 2 undefeated teams. They will take their 15-0 record to the 3A state championship game against the 4 seed East Lincoln, who is also 15-0. East Lincoln beat South Point tonight 14-7. That game is Saturday night, 7 o'clock at NC State in Raleigh. In the 2A playoffs, we have the 1 seed Reedsville. They will take on the 2 seed East Duplin. Reedsville all over Burns tonight, 32-14. Meanwhile, East Duplin played conference rival Wallace Rose Hill, a 28-26 win in that one, a very close game. Wallace Rose Hill scored with less than a minute left, had a chance to tie it with a 2-point conversion, and East Duplin stopped it. Again, 28-26, the final score. The 2A state championship between Reedsville and East Duplin will be Saturday at 11 a.m. at Keenan Stadium at UNC. And then finally, the 1A state championship game also set now. Tarboro, the 1 seed, will take on Mount Airy, the 4 seed. Tarboro beating Rosewood tonight, 35-7. Mount Airy beating Drone, 35-6. Both of those teams, 1-loss teams. Tarboro is 13-1. Mount Airy is 14-1 on the season after their win tonight. All right, let's go to the we're going to go to the 3A West, the 3A playoffs. Joe Hughes of the Gaston Gazette Shelby Star joining us now tonight. There he is. Joe, tonight, low scoring game, 14-7. Is that kind of what you expected in that one, or were you a little surprised?
I can't say I was surprised when you have South Point involved and they're able to really control the clock and control. Tough for East Lincoln to really get up and down the field like they want to, but this was just a defensive slugfest all the way around, and it took a Ben Cutter interception on the final play of the game with South Point driving for what seemed like possibly could be a game-tying score, and Ben Cutter stepped in front of a Patrick Blee pass and got the job done, and they're heading to state.
Defense. We saw the East game in the 3A was like that in the first half. It was not like that at all in the second half. That was 3-0 at halftime. Northern Nash was leading. They went on to win 23-22. East Lincoln is 15-0. Northern Nash will be 15-0. Did anybody have any idea or any insight into this matchup or what they expect Saturday night at NC State?
I asked Coach, and Coach was just like, hey, man, I have no idea what's going on right now. He was just happy and giddy to be gone, to have kind of South Point out of his hair and really be able to look ahead to playing for a state championship, which for that senior-laden ball club, that is what their goal has been. And they've been just talking about one game at a time. Let's take it week by week. Now they finally can say, hey, we that 1 week at a time deal, we can put that away State championship is it.
Is this a team? I mean, you're very familiar with East Lincoln. Is this a team you think can win this?
I do. They're defensively led, and we saw a lot of that tonight. A lot of people might have thought that, hey, this is probably the first time seeing the Redbone, the South Point Redbone, the famed Redbone, and they probably played it probably as good as anybody could have. Of course, the South Point had their share of runs, and Cam Medlock, God bless him, that he was tired, dog tired afterwards, and really left his heart out there on the field. But there aren't many teams that are going to just give up 7 points to South Point. And against a team with a conventional offense, that allows them to, the East Lincoln team, to actually spread its wings a little bit and let its strength on the defensive backfield show. With Keandre Walker, which is going to Virginia. You have a speedster in Jay Roseborough on the other side. They are defensively led and really can do it. And of course, their offense, which was a little out of sync, credit South Point. But when they're humming, they're as good as anybody.
Tell us what kind of coverage you guys have coming up this week.
Woo! It's going to be a full blowout on this state championship game, man. You got 2 15-0 clubs going at it to cap the weekend at that. So it should be a fun week. Of course, we're probably going to dive a little bit into some basketball too. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's really kind of the good time of year where you have things meshing together just a bit.
Yeah, and it is basketball season. Yeah. That is for sure. Well, we'll see you here in Raleigh on Saturday night. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Have a safe trip next weekend.
Yes, sir. Hey, let me know what the good spots to eat at are, man. You gotta pass that along.
We got lots of them. We'll have to hook you up.
Indeed. Look forward to it, man.
All right, Joe Hughes, thank you very much.
All right, now.
All right, so East Lincoln will face Northern Nash in the 3A state championship game. That game is on Saturday at 7 o'clock here in Raleigh at NC State. Again, Northern Nash and East Lincoln is the 3A state title game. All right, I want to bring in some highlights from that Northern Nash game. We have these in from WRAL's Brad Simmons. We're doing these in here. You see Northern Nash taking the field second half. Northern Nash up 3-0. You see 71st trying to how they're going to stop him. Keno Jones called his own number from 1 yard out. Makes it 10-0. Northern Nash. Later in the second half, Falcons get on the board. Anthony Quinn Jr. the Wildcat. He's in for the touchdown. We see a lot from Anthony Quinn Jr. 10-6 now, Northern Nash after this extra point. Falcons aren't done though. They score again. It's Quinn again, breaking a big run here for a touchdown. It's at 14-10, 71st over Northern Nash. Northern Nash to DeJuan Mitchell. Another touchdown here for the Knights. It was 3-0 at halftime. It's now 17-14. The offense is finding their rhythm in the second half tonight. 71st. They're not done. They're going to retake the lead. Fourth quarter, DeAndre Nance. He's going up top. Aaron Downing. He makes the catch. 22-17 now. 71st on top. Northern Nash ball again. And it is going to be fourth down and goal from the 7. You see it, fourth down and goal from the 7. Keno Jones rolling right. Finds Ashton Rhodes. Touchdown. 23-22. One last chance coming up here for 71st to save the season. It's going to be Nance looking to make a play. Deep ball down the field, and it is incomplete. Northern Nash is headed to the state championship for just the second time in school history. 23-22.
They're a 14-0 team. They're a freaking amazing team. I mean, we knew they were going to come back in the second half, and we just answered the bell every single time. Can't say enough about these guys that answer every time. That team came back and ran it right down the field and scored, and we came back every single time and answered with seconds on the clock and scored to send us to the state championship.
That was Northern Nash head coach Andrew Ferris.
I knew they couldn't. I just wanted to hurry up.
Hopefully, here we go. That was Northern Nash head coach Andrew Ferris talking after their 23-22 win over 71st. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we will hear more from that game from the Fayetteville Observer's Rod Baxley. We'll also hear from Kai Jones of WJG Sports from Rosewood and Tarboro, and Joe Serrero of the Greensboro News and Record. He was covering Weddington and Grimsley, a big 4A West game, an exciting finish in that one. That'll be next here on the High School OT Postgame Show.
Do you have the Breeze Through VIP Rewards app? For every dollar spent in-store and for every gallon pumped at a Breeze Through location, you can earn points to trade for a variety of your favorite snacks and beverages, or for savings at the pump. Don't forget the member deals, only available to VIP members. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and start earning rewards today.
WRAL's Nights of Lights is back with thousands of new lights. Along the route, you'll encounter 30-foot-tall dinosaurs and a brand new 250-foot animated tunnel. Get your tickets now, as some experiences are already sold out. Stop by the brand new Holiday Outpost and meet Santa. Ho, ho, ho! Get your tickets now at WRALNightsofLights.com.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I can earn that solo!
You saying I did?
Yeah!
Show your support for the best in the Triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank.
From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome back to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens. All of the games final, our state championships are set. You can see all of those matchups right now on HighSchoolOT.com. We got some more guests we want to bring in, though. Let's start with Kai Jones at WJG Sports. Kai, you were at Tarboro tonight for the 1A East championship game, Rosewood on the road at Tarboro. You've covered Rosewood all season long. Their season comes to an end tonight, 35-7 to the Vikings. Tell us from the perspective of Rosewood, what went down tonight? What went wrong for Rosewood?
I think it's just one of those bigger, stronger, faster than problems. I mean, when you look at it, Tarboro, they came in as the heavy favorites. I mean, this is now their sixth straight time they've been there. Seventh straight time they were in an Eastern Regional Final. So they're 6-1 in the last seven. And I think it kind of just showed tonight. Rosewood, I think they were a little bit conservative as well. And I think some of that, I think some of that played into what Tarboro wanted to do. There were some key plays where I think if, like there was a 4th and 7 on the 45-yard line, they had a 3rd and 7, and the receiver dropped the ball, and that was when it was, I believe, 22-7. If you make that catch, you're set up there in close to Tarboro's red zone, and maybe that changes the game. But I think just really for Rosewood, just outmatched a little bit. Tarboro's been here before, and I think for Rosewood it was a great story, just already being here.
I mean, great season for Rosewood. Great run in the playoffs, coming in at 10-4 tonight. They had 4 losses in the regular season, still made it all the way to the regional championship game, and went down to a Tarboro program that is just, on a tear, right? 6 straight state championship appearances now going into this week, and they've won 2 in a row. What were your takeaways for Tarboro? What does this Tarboro team do well? And I'm not even going to ask the question, do they have a chance in the state championship? Because anytime they go, they're the favorite. What do they look like? Let me guess. They run the ball well. They run the Tarboro T. They're good on defense. They are fast, well coached, disciplined.
Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah, pretty much. The incredible thing is one of their better players tonight, number 11. I don't remember what his name was, but he's a freshman. I believe their other running back.
Cameron McDowell Moore.
Yes.
Yes.
So they are it's a factory there, because going into the game, I heard some people say, oh, I heard Tarboro is down, or I've heard that they're not as good as they were. And I think people just kind of just tired of seeing them win. It's kind of like, you get to the point of LeBron where it's like, God, is he still back in the finals? And it's like kind of the same thing with Tarboro. I think everyone is just kind of, upset with watching them win. But, I mean, it's what they do. I mean, it's a dynasty for a reason.
You mentioned Cameron McDowell Moore. Coming into tonight, he had over 1,100 yards, 20 touchdowns on the season. And Joel Bryant here at HighSchoolOT, he told us earlier that is the most touchdowns scored by a freshman since they've kept stats on Max Preps, at least here in North Carolina. Pretty impressive. And now Tarboro will go on to face Mount Airy in the 1A state championship game.
And the interesting thing, you look at the history of Tarboro running backs. I mean, I think it would probably be almost unheard of for you to find a freshman running back getting 1,100 yards at Tarboro. I mean, you look at it, Todd Gurley really didn't even get to, I think, that type of total until normally his junior or senior year. So he's got a great future ahead of him.
I might be speaking out of place here. It's been quite some time since I interviewed Todd Gurley. But I believe he did not even play varsity until the playoffs of his sophomore year.
Right.
So, and they still won a state championship with him on JV.
Yeah.
Imagine that. All right.
It's what they do.
It is. They are a machine. That is for sure. Kai, tell us what you've got coming up on WJG Sports.
Well, now we're shifting to, that was the last team that was playing in the coverage area. So, of course, there'll be highlights from the game. But now kind of turning my attention to trying to give away the WJG Sports Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, things of that nature. Just trying to reward all the guys. It was a great season. I mean, to get to this level, this is where it ended last year. All 3 years, the last 3 years have ended either in the state championship game or the game before state championship. So, this is kind of the fun time where now you kind of get to step back and look at the whole season as a picture.
All right, Kai Jones, it is basketball season.
Basketball season all year long now.
It's a fun time. All right, Kai, we appreciate you joining us again tonight and every week just about during the playoffs.
For sure. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. Good luck with basketball. We'll see you soon.
See you.
All right, let's move on to the 4A West. We've talked about this game a little bit tonight. Weddington and Grimsley. Grimsley has had two back-to-back just nail biters. This one didn't go to overtime, but a 28-27 win over Weddington to get to the state championship game in the 4A playoffs. Let's bring in Joe Serrera of the Greensboro News and Record. Joe, do the folks at Grimsley just have like nerves of steel? Do they have fingernails left? What's going on over there?
It's been a wild ride, 5 home playoff games. The last 3, the Charlotte Independence game was a 44-36 win, and they had to hang on in that one. I mean, I thought last week's 40-37 triple overtime game with Huff couldn't be topped. Tonight was pretty darn close. Two great football teams, just like last week. I mean, last week could have been, to me, a state championship game in terms of the caliber of the teams. Tonight, same thing. Weddington just played a great football game, but just had 2 special teams gaffes, 2 block kicks, a blocked extra point, and a blocked 29-yard field goal attempt that allowed Grimsley to pull it out.
I'm really struggling looking ahead to this state championship matchup with New Bern, because there's a lot that they have in common. Like, they both have really, really good defensive linemen.
Yep.
You got KJ Sampson at New Bern going to Florida State. You got John Jarrett at Grimsley going to Georgia. But outside of that, they're very different teams, particularly on offense. The triple option at New Bern is what Grimsley is going to see. Have there been teams that Grimsley has seen this season that are going to do what New Bern does?
Not really. Indian Trail Porter Ridge last year knocked him out in the second round with triple options. So I think they're going to look back on that game and kind of kind of try to learn from that. I mean, Charlotte Catholic is a team that's going to try a lot of running, but it's out of more like a wing T than a true triple option. So this is going to be different, but this Grimsley team, they've won different ways. They've thrown the ball around at times. Tonight, they ran for a ton of yards. They ran for 228 yards against a very good, Weddington defense. And, it just seems like they find a different way to do it every week.
And that's what good teams do. They find ways to win.
Exactly.
Did Grimsley have any thoughts on this matchup going into the state championship?
No, I mean they were just still kind of basking in what happened tonight and kind of in disbelief at two games like this. I don't think they know much about New Bern at this point. I'm sure they will. I know how this Grimsley coaching staff prepares. They'll have a game plan by Sunday night or Monday morning. But you can't be 2 15-0 teams playing for a state championship on next Friday night, 7:00, Keenan Stadium. I don't know if Grimsley can top these last two games, but I wouldn't doubt it after this.
Well, that would certainly be a way to start state championship weekend if we could top those last two games.
Yep.
For sure. Tell everybody what kind of coverage y'all have coming in the Greensboro News and Record this week.
Well, we've got a big photo gallery from our photographer, Woody Marshall, from tonight's game. I'll have coverage of the game as well, including some post-game video interviews. And we'll have some reports on also Reedsville Rams, another team from our coverage area, back in the state championship game doing what Reedsville Rams teams do. Look for all of those things at hsextra.com.
Sounds good. Joe, we appreciate you joining us throughout the playoffs here, and enjoy the state championship weekend.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
We'll see you later. All right, we're going to go to the 3A East playoffs now. 71st and Northern Nash, two undefeated teams going into tonight. Northern Nash comes away with a 23-22 win. They will play East Lincoln in the 3A state championship game. Let's bring in Rod Baxley of the Fayetteville Observer. And Rod, a really, really heartbreaking way for 71st season to come to an end tonight. Tell us what happened from their perspective and what they were saying after the game.
Yeah, Nick, I think it was as simple as just not getting that one or two more stops that they needed, man. On Northern Nash's final drive, they got into a 3rd and 11 situation on 71st side of the field, converted a long pass for a first down. Then they get to a 4th and goal situation from the 7, and they convert the go-ahead score. So there you go. Those are the two plays that 71st is going to look back on and say, you know what, that was our ticket to the state championship. We couldn't get that stop. But I will say the offense didn't really help them out that much in the first half. 3-0 at halftime, Northern Nash lead. The defense was on the field for a long time, just trying to hold it together. Offense finally got going in the second half. But you could kind of see the defense was a little gassed there down the stretch, just needing that one more play that you need in these type of games to get over the hump.
When we were watching the scores come in throughout the night, and I saw that halftime score 3-0, that shocked me because honestly, going into that game, I wondered if Northern Nash would have the offense to keep up with 71st. And it turns out that it was a defensive struggle there in the first half. What was going on in the first half? Was it Northern Nash doing stuff defensively that 71st just wasn't able to respond to, or what was going on? Was it mistakes?
I think it was a little bit of both. It looked to me like both teams didn't want to make the big mistake early. And 71st offensive line didn't look as aggressive as they have at points. Now, they turned it around in the second half. But the first half, it looked to me like both teams were really just trying to feel each other out. I mean, Northern Nash, to me, was in a couple of situations where it was 4th and short right near midfield or just across midfield, and they decided to punt or take a delay of game and punt. That surprised me. So I think it was a combination of Northern Nash being very prepared for what 71st can offer, and then 71st offensive line just didn't have that punch in the first half that it brought in the second half. But it was certainly strange to see a 3-0 halftime score. That's for sure. I haven't seen that this year with 71st.
No, that shocked me. I thought the scoreboard was wrong when I saw it. But Man, tell us what kind of coverage y'all have coming up in the Observer this week. I assume you'll be wrapping up a 71st season.
Yeah, Andrew Kraft, our great photographer, was there tonight, so he'll have photos up whenever he gets home. I put up a quick game story that I'll probably go back and flesh out a little bit more, and then we'll start looking ahead at the, like you said, a wrap up and a recap of football season with some football awards, and then, as you know, in Fayetteville, it's always basketball season, so now we get to turn the page to that full time.
Yeah, I love basketball season, especially as it gets colder outside. That means it's basketball weather.
Yeah, man. I mean, we go
from cold to me.
Yeah, we go from 70 to 50 and 40, man, and my allergies are killing me. So I'm ready to get in the gym.
I hear you. All right, Rod Bagsley, the Fayetteville Observer. Thanks for joining us tonight and throughout the playoffs. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Nick. Thanks, man.
All right, we are going to take one more break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here on the High School OT Postgame Show.
It made perfect sense. I come here every day because of the great customer service and friendly atmosphere. So I bought my Breeze Through Lifetime Refill Mug. For only $19.99, I got a stainless steel mug and get free refills forever. Or grab a regular refill mug for $9.99 and enjoy discounted refills every time you stop by. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else.
At WRAL, we have the tools. Storms are firing up on the dual Doppler 5000 radar.
We have the team.
We are live here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street.
And WRAL News at 6 has the people you've known and trusted for decades.
I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We begin tonight with breaking news. Every night,
everywhere.
I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon.
No matter how you're watching.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You saying I did?
WRAL's Nights of Lights is back with thousands of new lights. Along the route, you'll encounter 30-foot-tall dinosaurs and a brand new 250-foot animated tunnel. Get your tickets now, as some experiences are already sold out. Stop by the brand new Holiday Outpost and meet Santa. Ho, ho, ho! Get your tickets now at WRALNightsofLights.com.
Welcome back to the High School OT Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens. Regional finals are done. State championships are now set. Let's take a look at the state championship matchups we have, and we will start in the 1A state playoffs. Saturday, 3 o'clock at NC State. Tarboro, the 1 seed out of the East, will take its 13-1 record and face the 4 seed out of the West, Mount Airy. They come in at 14-1. Tarboro defeated Rosewood tonight in the East final, 35-7. Mount Airy defeated Drone 35-6 in the 1A West. We'll move now to the 2A state championship games. This will be played at 11 a.m. on Saturday at UNC. It will feature the 2 seed out of the East, East Duplin, at 14-1 against the 1 seed out of the West, Reedsville, also at 14-1. Reedsville beat Burns tonight 32-14 in the regional final. East Duplin held off rival Wallace Rose Hill, a 12 seed in the East, 28-26. In the 3A playoffs, this game will be played Saturday night at 7 o'clock at NC State. We will have the 1 seed out of the East, Northern Nash, at 15-0 on the season. They will take on the 4 seed out of the West, East Lincoln, also 15-0 on the season. Northern Nash beat 71st tonight, 23-22 was the final score. 71st, first loss of the season. East Lincoln edged South Point, the 11 seed tonight, 14-7. The final score there. And then finally, in the 4A state playoffs, this game will get us started with state championship week. Friday night, 7 o'clock at Keenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. It's the 2 seed New Bern at 15-0. They will take on the 1 seed Grimsley out of the West, also 15-0, 2 undefeated teams in the 4A state championship game. New Bern defeated Millbrook tonight, 35-27 to win the East title. Grimsley defeated Weddington 28-27 to win the 4A West title. We will have coverage of all of these state championship games for you this week on High School OT. Preview content coming your way as early as Monday on High School OT. We will have the football state championship press conferences Monday morning. Those are at 10 o'clock at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. We'll have coverage of those for you on High School OT and other content throughout the week. Our state championship coverage will be fully in depth on Friday and Saturday. We will have large crews at every one of the state championship events. You can expect post-game coverage live with me and TJ Thorpe in studio. We'll have live coverage of the post-game press conferences from all 4 state championships. And of course, game stories, highlights, interviews, photos, all the stuff you expect from us here at High School OT. Be sure you download the free High School OT app so you don't miss any of that content. We'll have everything updated for you there throughout the week. For everybody here at High School OT, I'm Nick Stevens. Thanks for watching High School OT, the post-game show. We will see you this coming weekend for the state championships.